Today, we're going to improve your real-life teamwork by analyzing Overwatch. So what is Overwatch? Overwatch is a competitive first-person shooter where teams of 6 go head-to-head. In this video, the only win condition we're going to be discussing is escorting the payload. A payload is a fancy term for cart that slowly moves forward or backward down a track. You either help or prevent the payload from reaching the end of the track. The game ends if the attacking team escorts the payload down the track, or if the defending team runs out the clock. With the basics covered, let's hop into a game. Every game, players pick from a roster of 30 or so heroes. Each hero comes with unique weapons and abilities. If you're someone who likes to shrug off damage and introduce your enemy's face to your hammer, Reinhardt's made for you. If you like flying around with a jetpack and causing the weather forecast to be sunny with a chance of missiles, Pharah is who you want. If you like sitting in the backlines, knowing you are constantly the source of endless misery for your opponents by doing all of their hard work, you'll enjoy Mercy. Unlike many shooters where each hero plays somewhat similarly, Overwatch takes great care in offering very distinct heroes to pick from. Now this sounds great. You get to play the heroes that suit your personal playstyle. And prior to mid-2019, you would queue up into a game, pick the hero of your choice, and off you went. But there was a problem. The team that created a balanced mix of heroes typically won. You want a couple of tanks to absorb the enemy damage, you want a couple of healers to make sure the team stays healthy, and you want a couple of damage-focused heroes to slay your enemies. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and oh look, you won the game. Overwatch doesn't encourage a diverse set of skills. You need a couple of tanks, you need a couple of damage heroes, and you need a couple of healers if you want to win the game. There is no flexibility. Everybody freely picking their hero would be great if everyone is flexible with their preference of hero. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. In Overwatch, people want to play the damage heroes. Whether it's gaming culture or society itself, most people want the thrill of hunting down their enemies, slaying them one after another after another. They don't want to just sit there soaking up damage or healing their team. Overwatch also encourages this preference for damage heroes, exasperating this problem. At the end of the game will display a play of the game. Overwatch will select and display a moment in the game that was awesome. Awesome means killing a bunch of players in rapid succession. Healers pretty much never get the play of the game since they don't kill a lot of enemies. Tanks rarely kill enough players to appear. The cool moment is almost always the damage players. After all, if appearing in the play of the game requires killing a bunch of players in rapid succession, then the role dedicated to killing lots of people will constantly appear in the play of the game. The result of everybody wanting to play damage is that the matches were often determined by making sure that your team had a balance of heroes despite everybody wanting to play the damage heroes. If your team didn't have tanks or healers, you either needed to bully the other teammates into playing the missing roles or make the sacrifice yourself. What a great choice. Looking at the real world, I see the problem of wanting to be the star play out time and time again. Throughout my life, I was taught to always be the leader. The leader is the star of the show, and you should want to be the star of the show. The leader makes the money, gets the fame, gets the credit, etc., etc. The star is the best, and don't you want to be the best? The result is that on my college application essays and in job interviews, I'm telling stories about when I led teams to success. In plain talk, I'm telling the colleges and companies that I am the star. Other people are not, therefore you should want me. Everyone wanting to be the leader naturally creates conflict within teams since people are striving to put their own individual desires to be the star over the success of the project. Being part of the Plain Talk family means succeeding in your personal goals, or at least striving to. If you want to move up in the business world, I'm not going to tell you to work on your skills as a follower. Truth is, you won't move up quickly in a company. Just like Overwatch falls into the trap of needing tanks and healers, yet every game Overwatch highlights a damage hero with the play of the game, society promotes leaders and ignores the value of a good follower. I hate to say it, but if you want fame and fortune, focus on being a leader. Now, unlike society, it's a lot easier for Overwatch to attempt to fix this problem. Overwatch would create the role queue in July 2019. You now picked your role before you even began. Every team would end up with 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 2 damage heroes. Each role lets you select from only a portion of the hero roster. If you queue up as a healer, you will only be able to select a hero that is a healer. The same holds true for tank and damage heroes. 3 problems still persist though. First, most people still want to play damage, resulting in longer wait times for damage players. The creation of the priority pass helps solve this problem by rewarding damage players with shorter queue times if they play other roles on occasion. Second, Overwatch's hero roster is mostly damage heroes. The original game design didn't have roles in mind. The developers just made unique heroes, resulting in most heroes being damage heroes. As of making this video, there are 7 healers, 8 tanks, and 17 damage heroes. Over 50% of the roster is damage heroes, meaning your preferred hero has a high chance of being a damage hero. To play that hero, you'll need to queue up to play the damage role, adding to the queue problems. The third problem is that the play of the game has not changed. Overwatch continues to highlight damage players. The play of the game is a cool feature, but it's definitely not helping Overwatch's queue times. I would love to see Overwatch highlight a moment where the tanks absorb a huge amount of damage or the healers save a ton of allies. Let the other roles be the star. But as of making this video, if you want to be the star, you must play damage. Let's move on into the game. You've picked your hero and you've loaded in. If you've played a lot of shooters, a lot looks standard. You have ammo and a few abilities in the bottom right. You have a health bar to let you know when you're in trouble in the bottom left. However, you'll quickly notice one huge difference. In the middle of the screen is a gauge at 0%. This gauge is far more blatant than your health, ammo, and ability cooldowns. It must be important. What is it? This is your ultimate ability. After the gauge is full, you can activate your ultimate to unleash a devastating ability from your hero. Building up to your ultimate ability and then unleashing it at an opportune time is a key part of Overwatch's design. When you play a game of Overwatch, you want to feel like you're helping your team. The worst feeling in any game is feeling that you're holding your team back. Ultimate abilities let you shine for just a moment. You might be the worst player on your team, but for just a brief moment, you will be helpful. Just keep playing, do your best, and wait for the gauge to fill, and then you'll have your moment. Win or lose, you'll feel like you contributed something to your team because of your ultimate ability. If there was no ultimate ability, many players would leave the game feeling useless. There must always be a worst player on every team, after all. That player won't want to play again, and if they're forced to by friends, they'll play in a disengaged manner. Why would you try again if you always feel like you're holding your team back and walk away discouraged? This lesson applies to any type of team. If you are working with people and you want them to feel attached to a project, you need to let them shine at something. You need to give them achievements to be proud of as the project is moving forward. Those small celebrations and accomplishments connect the team to the project. Do your best to figure out what people are good at and want to do, then push to get those people set up with roles that will make them successful in the things they want to do. This applies whether you're the manager for a project or just simply a team member without an established hierarchy. If someone doesn't feel like they're adding value to a project, they may just give up. Even if you set yourself up to be the star for a project, if the project fails, the entire team loses. Don't skimp on paying attention to ensuring that everyone is going to have successes during the project. If people can find successes in their work and celebrate it during the project, they will work harder on the project and always stay engaged. Let's focus now on what you need to do to win a game of Overwatch, specifically on escorting the payload. The payload has a set path it slowly moves along, and slowly it will get to the destination if you can keep the enemy team away from the cart. To get personal for a second, I hate the payload. It's the worst because the payload is slow. It's so slow. Painfully slow. It barely moves at all. Do you know what happens after a fight occurs and the attacking team wins the fight? Instead of staying near the payload, which triggers the payload to move forward, everyone runs ahead, abandoning the payload. Why? Helping the payload move is boring. Who wants boring in a video game? Instead, charge ahead. Rush the enemy. Will it help you win? No. The payload won't move. Will it help you get into combat faster, which is why you're playing the game? Yes. The game designers are supposed to create situations where to win, you get to make the fun choices. That's how games work. The fact that you get to have more fun by charging ahead and ignoring the way to win is a sign of bad game design. To apply this to real life, you should be striving to create situations where accomplishing your goal and having fun are the exact same thing. For example, getting pizza to celebrate a successful outcome to a work project, or having a friendly competition with a friend over who can perform the best on an upcoming exam. Now, Overwatch has an easier time accomplishing this because it's a game and games should be fun. The real world isn't always fun, but people will gravitate towards fun. Would you rather be studying textbooks or playing video games? But what if you really need to study? Now imagine if you would have a self-care night where you get to have takeout from your favorite restaurant and play video games all night if you study and get an A on the exam. That might make studying a little more interesting than playing video games right now. Playing video games when you're supposed to be doing something else isn't nearly as much fun as playing video games without worrying about anything else coming up in the future. Use fun as a tool to encourage yourself to accomplish those difficult tasks. Now you might be saying, John, I don't need fun. I'm a highly responsible person and get all of my work done. Great. How about your peers? If you know that most people prefer to seek fun, creating situations where their fun and your objectives align will help you be more successful. Moving along, I have some good news for you. Your team successfully moved the payload across the map and you have won the game. After watching the play of the game, where a damage hero kills 3 players in quick succession, an achievement page will appear where the game highlights some cool stats from the most successful players. While not as fancy as the play of the game, at least healers and tanks do get some recognition for their help. But what if you want to say thank you to someone who wasn't the star of the show? You can endorse players in Overwatch, giving them a higher chance of getting surprise in-game loot. That's pretty sweet. You can endorse other players by saying that they were a good shot caller, good teammate, or showed sportsmanship. Since most players don't talk in Overwatch, these specific endorsement types are all meaningless. But you can pick one of them randomly to thank a tank that protected you, a healer that saved you, or the damage hero that slayed your enemies. In real life, there are still stars of the show in any team project. Someone will stand out more than the rest, and it might not be you. However, if you want to set yourself up for long-term success, take the time to seek out your different teammates and compliment them each on something they did. You want to be genuine. If someone was trash and you can't find something good that they did, don't lie. They know that they're trash, so trying to create a false compliment will only inform them that you are a liar. The good news is that finding things to compliment should not be hard if you've been remembering to set up each member of your team with opportunities to shine. The result of a genuine compliment is that each person will enjoy working with you more. You enable them to find pride in their work by acknowledging their effort and successes. The next time you both work together, they will want to work extra hard in order to find that pride again. If you repeat this process long enough, the result is that when you work on a team with others, everyone will be willing to give it their all. You have just gone from being another teammate to someone that makes an entire team better just by being present. That's a powerful trait and will set you apart from everybody else. These are just some of the lessons you can learn from Overwatch. Did any of these lessons resonate with you? Are there other lessons you've learned from Overwatch that you want to share? Let me know down below. I'll see you next time.